We are back with another episode of the House Husband Diaries. Words that are bothering me, part 3. So for those of you who are just watching this video for the first time or just finding the House Husband Diaries for the first time, I do 4 days a week of random House Husband Diary stories from my life, stories, things that interest me, sports, all kinds of things. We'll be getting into some politics, finance, economics, all kinds of things. And then 3 days a week, I talk about Forrest Fenn's The Thrill of the Chase memoir in this treasure hunt with this poem. So, this is part 3 of words that are bothering me in Forrest Fenn's poem in The Thrill of the Chase. So I've already gone through in, it, where, there, possessive pronouns. So we're now down to words in there's only one word in the first stanza that I'm going to talk about. And then really it's the last 5 lines. I was going to say stanzas 5 and 6, but then when I was getting ready to hit record, I looked at it and it's really just the last line of the 5th stanza and then the 6th stanza. And these words that I wonder what your thoughts are. I'm going to share my thoughts, obviously. And then I'd love to hear your thoughts. If these words seem important to you, if they stand out to you, I'd love to hear. So I'll tell you what I think, and then please respond accordingly. So the first word that I think is interesting, that might have something additional, a different kind of meaning, is secret. So in the first stanza, he says, I can keep my secret where? And I've heard from some comments from different viewers that they think maybe the I is the chest in the first stanza. And I thought that's fascinating. I hadn't thought of that. But as I have gone alone in there, the chest, and with my treasures bold, the treasures are in the chest, I can keep my secret where? In him of riches new and old. But I wonder if the secret is that I can keep my secret where? So if you think of I as Forrest, as I do, if you think of I as the treasure chest, as other searchers do, it changes a little bit, whether it matters or not, what that secret is. I think what's interesting is if you think of it as Forrest, then that secret can be more than just the hiding place or what's inside me as the treasure chest. It could be what's inside the contents of the chest. It could be the hiding place. It could be the clues in the path. The secret are just the location. I mean, the secret could be a number of things, and I don't know if it's important, if it gets us anywhere, but I wonder if you look at the poem in different ways, if secret could actually unlock something. He's keeping a secret where he's hinting. And the whole point of a secret is you want to find out what that secret is. I just finished reading a book called Code Girls about the women in World War II that broke codes, whether it was German codes or Japanese codes. And those were secret codes are secretive. I don't know, is there a secret that we're supposed to break? Is there a code we're supposed to break? I don't think there's a code in the poem where you move the lines or something, try the wheel. I don't think that's it. But it's fascinating to look at, okay, what is that secret? And does that have any bearing on where the treasure is or how we go about looking for it? So then let's just move on to the last 5 lines of the poem. So it's interesting because once you get to the 9 clues, you get through all that, then you have, so why is it that I must go? And I've talked about that in previous videos where he changes back to I. So why is it that I must go and leave my trove for all to see? The answer is I already know. I've done it tired, and now I'm weak. I'm not so interested in the answers. Maybe I'm missing something in those first 3 lines. I always can, it's always a potential. But because obviously I don't have the chest. So I'm interested in, I've done it tired. So tired and weak stick out to me. So I've done it tired, and I wonder if that is it life? You know, he's done life, now he's tired, and he's weak because he's older. Is it fighting cancer? And when you fight cancer, you're tired, and it makes you weak. If you had chemotherapy, I don't even know if Forrest had chemotherapy. I don't know what all happened. You know, is it I've done it tired, the hiding the chest and the contents of the chest, and so now he's weak because he's hiked, a short ways with 40 pounds, and that's hard for even young people, much less older people. Is it I've done it tired, I've written the poem in the memoir, and he's just tired because, it's tired. It's mentally and potentially spiritually taxing to go back into your memories of maybe family members, loved ones that you've lost, the war, and maybe he's just mentally tired. And then when you're really tired, you become weak because you don't have your full faculties about you. Or maybe he's done it tired, he fought the government, and now he's weak. I don't think that. I just put that down there as a little something. So I don't know what if it matters if he's tired and weak, or if he's just trying to find words that rhyme to make the poem an additional few stanzas. I don't have any idea. Your thoughts? Is there a significance to 6 stanzas? 3 with clues, 3 without, 3 with hints, maybe? I'm not really sure. But then the last stanza, I think, is fascinating because we don't really talk, or at least what I've seen, fellow YouTubers, people that are putting content out, I haven't really seen a whole lot of time spent on the last stanza. And the last stanza is really interesting because Forrest says, "So hear me all and listen good," which obviously is incorrect English, but listen well doesn't rhyme with in the wood. So hear me all and listen good. All right, well, what are we listening for? What are we hearing? And he says, your effort will be worth the cold. So I think listen is huge. Are we listening to what Forrest is saying? Are we supposed to listen to the words in the poem? Hear me all and listen good sounds like a proclamation of what comes next is really important. And what comes next is your effort will be worth the cold. And I'll get there in just a second. So are we supposed to listen to the words in the poem that follow that specific line? Or are we supposed to listen to the words in the poem overall, the 9 clues? Are we supposed to listen good to the memoir? Or what about when he mentions listening in the memoir? There's several points in the story, in different stories in the memoir in TTOTC, where he says listen, or listen comes up. And I'll do it. I'll do another video on listen, and that'll come in when I start doing themes. So I think there's something to listen. And right now I'm just gonna focus on that 6th stanza in the next couple of lines. So then he says, hear me all and listen good. Your effort will be worth the cold. So the next word is effort. What does he mean by effort? Is it our reading of the poem? Is it our reading of the book? Is it our understanding, our effort of trying to understand, decipher the clues, studying maps, our effort in using our imagination? Is it just the physical effort of boots on the ground, going out, hiking, or is it some combination of all of them? Excuse me. And he says, your effort will be worth the cold. So worth obviously is, has value. So your effort will have value if, or you're going to experience cold. So I think it's interesting because your effort will be worth the cold. First line of the 2nd stanza, the first clue is where warm waters halt. Well, where warm waters halt is cold. If warm, he doesn't say where hot waters halt. It's where warm waters halt. and then your effort will be worth the cold. So is that the same place will be worth whatever that cold is where one water's hot? Is it snow? Cold could also just be the passage of time where fires burn down and the ashes turn cold or memories fade. And he says it's sad in my war for me that no one cries anymore for those soldiers. They don't even know where they're buried. They've been forgotten. And that could be cold. The dark. You think of somewhere as cold and dark and damp. Is there potential for, is cold a key word here? Or is cold just it rhymes with gold? And so instead of saying, cool doesn't rhyme with gold, but that's, the opposite of warm is cool, but it doesn't work phonetically or whatever. And so in his quest to make a rhyming poem and a great poem, he just used cold. I don't know. Love to hear your thoughts on cold. And then the last two words, the next line, if you are brave and in the wood. And so we have meek, which is the first line of the third stanza. So you've got your effort will be worth the cold, which is the first line of the second stanza. And the cold is sort of the opposite of what warm water, or where warm water's hot could be. And then the first line of the third stanza is, from there it's no place for the meek, which is sort of the opposite of brave. If you are brave, now you're in, this is no place for the meek, so you have to be brave to go there. Is that putting yourself out there, boots on the ground? Is it trusting your solve? What does brave mean? Is it sticking your hand inside a cold, dark hiding spot? And I thought a la Indiana Jones. What is, there's so many different definitions of brave. Bravery could be confronting an accuser in some sort of, bad situation. It could be standing up for what you believe in. It could be, jumping out of an airplane with a parachute off your back. It could be flying jet fighters in Vietnam or, a war. Bravery could be Native Americans, the Indian Braves. There's so many options for brave. And then if you are brave, and then there's that conjunction, and in the wood. And wood is used typically, the wood is like a generic term for a forest, the wood. But I wonder if Forrest is playing that instead of using the generic form of in the wood, if it's actually more literal. And there's actually like a hollow log, like a specific piece of wood that you have to stick your hand in, that the treasure, and the indulgence, the box, the bronze box with the treasure inside is just, just like it's just in there. You just got to reach in there and grab it. I don't know. Could be, like I said in a previous video, maybe there's a bronze of a wood. He says in one of the stories, it's the one with the kids. I need to look that up again. But he talks about how the bronze is cold to the touch. And the kids, don't know why in a warm room the bronze would be cold. So maybe that your effort will be worth the cold. If you were brave and in the wood, maybe it's just a bronze, and there's a wood, and there's a hollow, and it's just a bronze chest is sitting inside a bronze. It would match. It'd be really hard to see. Would you even know that that bronze chest isn't a part of the statue or the memorial or whatever if you didn't know that this treasure hunt was going on? It would just look just normal, like a part of whatever. And really, all you do is just take it. It's just right there. Oh, that would be crazy after 10 years. Like 100 million people had just seen it. Who knows? Could. Somebody said that Forrest, if he didn't want you to find something, you wouldn't find it. Like he could just hide stuff in plain daylight. He was so smart, good with words. I don't know. Trying to use my imagination. And then the last thing we talked about earlier in previous videos, and then I've seen it on some other shows, But title to the gold, especially this past week with K-Pro and Cal, he doesn't say I give you title to the chest and all of the contents and everything in it, because the chest is bronze. So he just says I give you title to the gold. So maybe you don't get to keep the chest. I don't know. I don't know what that last line means. I'm not really worried about it because you got to find it and you got to have it in your possession before you can really worry about whether or not you get title to the bronze, to the gold, to whatever. I'll fight that battle once I have the chest, right? But it's a long way from North Carolina to the Rocky Mountains. So not really thinking that I'm going to have that chest in my possession anytime in the next 60 days. So let me know what you think. This is the end of part 3 of words that are bothering me, and then we'll move on to some themes and go through the book, and I'll share different themes throughout the book, things that I think are aberrations, interesting. Why would a man put these certain stories in a memoir, and how maybe they interact or guide us to some of the clues in the poem. So hope you all are having a great day. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.